And welcome back, everybody, to the Sandbox Jukebox here on Monday Madness. And we're back on the hard streets of Dobuita with the wonderful adventure Shenmue. I'm joined this leg of the adventure by Dave of our good friends at Nerds of Us. Dave, this is your second time on the Sandbox Jukebox and a veteran of the sorts, really. But this is a very different proposition to what you had last time, it has to be said.
Yeah, massively different. What was the last one, actually?
Do you know of a place where
Crackdown.
sailors hang
Cracked it. Oh god, yeah.
Sailors? I see them at night.
I can.
We
Do you know
close
what?
at
I can
8,
actually see why this was the most
I often see them
expensive
from just
game ever
before that.
developed, because
I see.
to have
All of
those
the
facial
sailors are
expressions
big,
in
you know.
1999,
You'll know who they are just by
Yep.
looking.
I can see.
Where
I
do
can
they
see where
hang out?
the money
I
went.
would say they
Yes.
hang out at bars or some places like that. Thanks.
It did not go on the voice acting, however.
No, 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 no.
In fairness, I played a lot of games where it is a lot of Japanese voice actors pigeoning English, and they actually do a really good job here in this game. But it's still it's still a little bit
Well, they sure don't
cringeworthy
come
at
here.
times.
I'd guess that they probably hang out in bars.
And sometimes it's also
Yeah,
like it is sometimes
probably.
English voice actors,
Hey,
but their
sorry to
directions
bother you.
are
Yeah.
given in Japanese and translated, so the delivery is naturally a bit stunted because they're basically being told what to, told to say it
And
like
her
this.
microphone is absolutely diabolical. His isn't too bad.
Mm.
It could do with some reverb and a little bit of
Always
echo.
on.
Yeah.
Yo! Hey, Odie.
Yeah, so
But,
I suppose to
yeah.
provide a bit of context,
Do you know
the
where sailors hang out
the
around
version of
here?
Shenmue I'm playing at the moment is the PS4 version.
I see them
It was basically
Ah,
brought out on the kind of the in preparation for
Around
Shenmue
here?
3, which obviously came out on that console. So Shenmue 1 and 2 was brought out as a dual package, basically on a fairly decent price.
I see.
Bit of a graphical touch up, bit of a few performance issues fixed, a few quality of life changes, that sort of thing, like an autosave and few kind of other kind of like prominent bugs taken out. Although ironically enough, it ended up adding more bugs in the end. So we'll see if they come
Yeah.
across in the game later on. But yeah, so all the voice acting is as it was from the original game. Like studio recording and all. Like it is just like that. Like I'm looking back at from the year like it's 1999. So
Yeah.
I think this was like a couple of years in production as well. So
Crazy.
yeah.
Like, so I take it like this is a remaster. Then they've cleaned it up, and obviously the textures are improved.
Something?
A little bit, yeah. Like I mean, it doesn't look too different from how it looks in the Dreamcast, to be honest. But then again, a lot of Sega consoles upscale really, really well.
True, true. I
Which
have
is
been
actually quite
tempted, actually. I've been tempted to get a Dreamcast one, and I'll be like genuinely tempted to get one.
What is
Yeah.
it?
So like, so at the very least, like they still look quite decent here. So it is kind of more, I suppose, performance issues. I suppose
Yeah.
like the loading screens are virtually non-existent on the PS4, which is great because a lot of the time you're like a lot of the gameplay essentially is just going around town asking questions and trying to advance the plot that way. And to actually kind of fill you in on where we are in the plot, the game starts off with Rio's father, who's the main character here, being killed off by a mysterious man with a long ponytail and some serious martial arts at his disposal. He's going on about some sort of mirror that apparently our dad had, and our dad basically acquiesced and gave it to him, but he ended up being killed in the end. And then about a week later, after all the kind of mourning has passed, Rio's now going around town and trying to figure out who was responsible. So essentially, it's basically kind of trickled down from like, okay, people saw like a black car and people dressed in suits.
I mean,
they're
yeah,
asking-
it's old school detective work, which actually I quite like. I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, just walk around and ask questions." Like, but that's what an investigator does. What do you
Yeah.
really think happens in an investigation? You ask questions to find out information to get to the point. So,
yeah,
like,
this is the grunt work you miss in an
Yeah.
episode of Law
Which-
and Order. Like,
yeah, which is why I appreciate this game, because it can be in ways very true to life. Given when it came out, this did. I guarantee they did not make their money back on this at all, anywhere fucking
Nope.
close. However,
Noriko.
it's a shame
What's
because
up?
it is quite
Do you know anywhere
groundbreaking
that
when you look at
sailors
this
hang out?
game and you look at
Now that you
1999
mention
and even
it,
Resident
I
Evil
often see
1 and
them
2
heading for the back
compared to this are
streets when it
horrific
gets dark,
graphically.
Yeah.
but
You know,
I
so it's
don't
like
know
I
exactly
suppose it's
where
very
they
underrated, but
go.
a little bit ahead of its
I
time.
see.
at the same.
Yeah, like it's
About those sailors.
it definitely it normally gets the credit of being the first proper open world / sandbox game, because all these characters have cycles. Like they go to work at certain times, they go home at certain times, they have lunch or they go drinking
which
at
is
certain
crazy.
days.
Like that is crazy. Like programming, that is crazy coding.
Like that's an exceptional amount of detail for the time. Again, like we say the game was released in 1999, but I think it was a good few years before it made sales essentially. Like I think it would have started off a couple of years beforehand, which is typically the same with something as with a game with a game as ambitious as this. Because I'm thinking even myself. The other game that we were mentioning in the last leg of this playthrough was Omicron, which was Quantum Dream's first title, and famously the one that has David Bowie in it, potentially going on this series at some point. But that also has an argument of being the first open world game as well, with kind of same things. It's nowhere near as much detail as this stuff, because you couldn't just.
This is a Japanese Jamaican guy, like.
Yeah,
his accent literally changes halfway through.
Yeah. Now, I think the character is meant to be actually Jamaican. Again, it's just the voice actors that had at disposal. So you have a Japanese actor or possibly an English actor following Japanese directions to act or sound Jamaican. We'll have like other gaijins around town as well, and it's kind of the same thing where it is a Japanese actor or Japanese delivery, but it's an American actor or Chinese actor in some case, or a Chinese character in some cases.
This takes place in Japan and China, doesn't it?
Well, the trilogy it takes place in different areas. So this first game is all set in this area in Japan, and the second game I think is set in Hong Kong, and then the third game is set in China. And there was this huge wait for Shenmue 3 because that was obviously the payoff to the entire story.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. So like it's set over across those 3 different areas because, as I said, this is essentially a Kurosawa style revenge plot. Like, my father has died, you've made him dishonorable, I'm now going to fight to get my name back type of thing.
I'm looking for some sailors.
So, the other kind of like thing about this game is that one half of it is this kind of dry bit where we're talking and trying to figure out what to do. You also kind of have to pass time. So we figured out a while ago that there are sailors around, but they only come out at night, and like vampires apparently. So now we have to basically wait until it gets dark, so then we can meet some sailors. But in the meantime, you can go and ask the townspeople and get more kind of like flesh on the bones of where you might get them. And pretty much everyone's saying they're in the bars, they're in the red light district. Go there, you'll find them. You know. Now, of course, the game also like does pad out a little bit with, again, this bit of extra dialogue, character development, all these different things. There's also like little either mini games or collectibles, and there's a few arcade games thrown in as well on the slide, which you'll see over the course of the video.
Right.
But of course, the second big part of the game is the combat. So this is actually set on the Virtua Fighter engine.
Okay.
So it does actually kick into Virtua Fighter mode whenever the plot demands it, essentially.
So it goes like side screen when it's combat.
It's kind of a freak. It's kind of like a fixed camera, and it kind of takes a cinematic angle and then basically like pivots to you wherever you're going. So you're always kind of in the center of the shot, and then everyone else is around it. So if you wanted to try and aim at somebody, you have to kind of like always go perpendicular to the camera. And we do get a bit of combat in this session, so you'll see what I mean when we get to it. And these are the collectibles I'm talking about. You can just get you basically just get capsules, and like again, this is Sega, so like you could get something like a Sonic character,
or yeah.
And yeah, you're basically can essentially just like buy them over the game essentially.
Not today.
But a lot of it just serves as kind of time killers essentially. And that's really kind of the gist of it.
So now it's nighttime.
Well, because I think I skipped an hour because it was they just did. I think I included this bit because I actually haven't been into the casino before.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you something.
This is the
Oh
best
God,
part.
the microphone.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I hit the jackpot. Must be my lucky day.
So that's when you have a character who does not want to know you. They just basically just say something like that, and it's just completely irrelevant. Again, conveniently not a named character either.
What can I help you with? I'd like to ask you something. About what?
In terms of where like what it's set, like all like you probably kind of see from like the loading screens, it is set in like late 80s Japan, and obviously a very rural part of it as well, which kind of makes me even more amused at the fact that like there's a proper fucking casino in this small town. Like you're not gonna. That's like saying you have like a fucking like a casino in Liechtenstein. Like it doesn't match, like, you know.
It's almost like they're playing on the Asian gambling culture, like that stereotype of, you know, wherever they go, there's a casino, or you just have to look at the cow. I mean, like it's not. It is a true stereotype. Yeah. It's not like you're going to be offensive by saying Asians gamble a lot. They do everywhere. It's part of the culture.
We gamble a lot as well. Like, you know, like we're the same. Like, you know, we're
more sports betting, whereas they're more casino.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, absolutely, we are horrific as a culture for gambling. Horrific.
Yeah. And of course, ours is very much predominantly, as you said, sports betting and horses. Whereas, like, it is there's a bit of pollination there in Japan, but not the same. It's not.
And then
not
in the USA, they just combine them both.
Yeah,
both cultures can thrive.
Again, there's nothing more capitalist than fucking betting, anyway. So you know, no wonder America opt for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can get like you basically get like a kind of an allowance from your mother every day because like Rio is meant to be like a teenager. Like he's like only like 15 or 16 or something.
Who, this guy?
Yeah. So we are properly like being a little like shit here and like underage gambling, the whole shebang. No, you think that's terrible, but you're like you're 11 or you're 10 or 11 in Pokemon and you can gamble. So you know it checks out.
That's true. I mean that's the thing. It's so embedded in the culture that they're looking going, well, nobody's going to bat an eyelid because it happens anyway.
And that's why there's actually no game corners in the most recent Pokemon games, because there's like all the anti-gambling laws have kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
But also that, and they realize, oh, these games are now for Western audiences, so they think it's going to look bad if we're basically teaching kids how to gamble. You know, at least leave that to the proper games like FIFA or Call of Duty Warzone.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like one of the most popular games in the world and one of the most popular franchises of all time. Call of Duty, and it's like one of the most violent games you'll ever play.
Excuse me, sir.
Because you quite literally jump into a game where you have to kill everyone in order to win.
Coins for you.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like, are you gonna? They don't have a go at that, but the gambling, that's an issue.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's also the fact that it is like genuinely like shaking like the pants of little children for pennies. I think that's the immoral issue there.
I need to ask you something.
Here's the tough guys at the community.
Who the hell do you think you're talking
You can tell from his triple
Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo.
Can you tell how tough he is from his tattoos?
I've got a question for you.
Who are you kidding? Kiss off, twit.
Kiss off.
Kiss off.
Kiss off. Really?
What do you want?
There's a lot of black Asians in this game. I mean, I'm not saying
So,
a bad thing, but
You think you got what it takes to fight
It's gone
me,
for
huh?
a diverse area.
You ain't nothing but some punk-ass schoolboy.
I'm still annoyed with Kiss Off. That's going to annoy me for quite some time. That's going to annoy me like a lot.
Kiss off.
The most simple translation. They get that one wrong.
I think it's to try and keep the game relatively PG, so there's no like foul language in it. Like clearly, piss was a step too far for this game, you know.
And Duke Nukem came before this.
Yeah, well, different audience, Dave. Different audience altogether, you know.
We need to do a run through of that. That'd be cool.
Jesus, I haven't played Duke Nukem in years, and I don't think I'll ever. I don't think I'll ever see myself playing it again. But there you go.
Oh, you got it. Duke Nukem 64.
Oh Jesus.
Minako-san.
What?
Do you know anywhere?
This is the
that
local
out?
convenience store that's just called
Foreigners come
Tomato.
here sometimes, but I don't know if
Ironic
they're
enough, you
sailors.
can't actually buy fruit
I
here.
see.
Oh, look. There's real people on. I bet you they're like the developers or something.
That's actually the
You know the way they
CEO
do
of
that?
Sega.
Yeah. You know the way they
That
do
is
that
actually-
in the Japanese games are notorious for that. Like,
Oh
when you
yeah.
go into Metal Gear Solid, for example, when you go into all the lockers and stuff, There's like pictures of the staff, or there's pictures of random like women. And
Yeah.
it's like,
But that's the funniest part, though.
canned tuna, 20 yen. Sure, why not?
Here's the thing, you see, right? The health system here is not like what you'd expect. You know, like I can't just eat chocolate and then get better. So I don't know why we're buying these things. Like, there's no,
May I help you?
there's no reason bar just to buy some. You know. Now again, unless it's a thing where like, you know, you might need like to bribe somebody for chocolate later on. Oh yeah, this is the thing too, because we bought an item, we can.
That'd be so funny if he like went like that and then his hand wasn't there when he pulled it up.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
The prize is inside the
I'd like to report a bug, sir. Oh, nice, we got a b-ball.
Oh,
We got a coupe.
Coupe 5, alright.
A Renault Coupe 5. What a goal, lads.
Sega.
In fairness, like, there was one thing we needed here, which was the batteries, because you have a flashlight. So now we can.
Yeah.
That's like one of the only puzzles we've had so far in the game.
I want some like Japanese toilet roll. Oh, touche. Potato cheap.
I was about to say, why not some anime Tato? Would you like that instead?
Yeah, that'll do.
Yo, may I help you?
This.
This. Buy, please. My father died.
Draw a ticket.
I need
please.
crisps. So as I learned, the reason why we're doing this kind of potluck here, when we buy something, is that basically at the start of the game you can obviously like you have vending machines, you can like buy drink whenever you want to, and basically the first time I did it, I got like what's called a lucky can, which means you're basically entitled to like a free raffle every time you buy something in the shops.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's mad,
That's
isn't
nice
it?
little mechanic.
Yeah, well, again, it's just something else. Oh, and here's the.
Hey, anyway.
Oh,
What do you want?
I have something.
Now we
to
had a
ask
scrap
you.
with this guy earlier on in the game, and now we're just having a polite conversation in the middle of the street. You know?
I'm pretty sure
Just
Hulk
shows you
Hogan
that-
slammed him
You know
once.
anywhere around here where sailors hang out?
I think the Hulk Hogan fucking gave him a headshot going with his
I
forehead.
see.
Because that face has been flattened at least once. So yeah, like I said, we were talking about the kind of the mechanics of the game and that. Like the fact that like again, it's a real life kind of city town that's being played through here, including the fact that like it's now 5:05. People are clocking off. Like you saw two lads there who are working the shops there. They're gone. They're going home. Their shit is done.
The fact that was engineered into a game
Oh, no,
in
sorry.
1999 or beforehand while they were developing it.
Do you know any place where sailors
This
might
is
hang
why
out
it's
around here?
possibly one of the most
Sailors?
underrated
There should
games
be a
ever
lot of them in
created
the bars around
because
here at night.
we take for granted that
Bars.
that's just normal now.
Thank
Like
you.
time cycles are normal in games. That's just
Yeah.
irregular. But
Absolutely,
back in 1999, this had a full time cycle before
Ain't
Grand
got
Theft Auto
time
3.
for punk
Hmm.
kids.
Well,
Get out of here.
Grand Theft Auto was still 2D at this stage.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
that's
Like
it.
this,
Yeah.
no doubt, this had a lot of like impact on the gaming industry, and more so than we probably know. But when I think of Grand Theft Auto in 2001, Grand Theft Auto 3, I'm like, if you decongest this map, if you make it a little bit more open, it's graphically it's actually better than Grand Theft Auto 3. If you really look at it.
Got a minute?
Well, that's also
Take
the convenience of
Come
having
on
it
to the
quite
bar.
small and
I
centered.
will.
Barrio.
Is that it's the fact that like it is all essentially in walking distance, which so it kind of that kind of works twofold. One is that it kind of gives it a natural level of scale because you have to walk everywhere, so everything has the
Oh, hey,
nice bit of like a nice bit of distance to it.
But, have a seat.
And serve you alcohol.
Thanks.
So you can gamble to your heart's content.
How about a cola?
Sure.
I love the camera angle. Like a cola. Zoom.
Having a cola.
Love it, man.
Again, even this shit is kind of a novelty in a sense, you know.
So, what's up?
I'm a big fan of his buzz cut haircut.
Saijo-san, do you know any places
He's
where
actually
sailors
got a
like to
white
hang out
man's
around
flat
here?
top.
You
He's got a
said
perfect
sailors,
cube of hair.
But you don't
Yep.
mean just any sailor, do you?
Right.
Try
You mean
MJQ
those kind of
Jazz
sailors?
Bar or Heartbeats Bar.
Is that where they go?
But you best be careful. I hear they run with a dangerous crowd.
The
Any
Navy.
guys with tattoos on their arms?
You'll probably find guys like that there.
That's alright.
Again, this is World Japan, so anyone with a
Yeah.
tattoo is clearly a criminal.
Akemi-san.
That is how it
You
works.
need to go home now. Ine-san's worried, you know.
Alright.
I will ignore that advice.
Mhm.
I am coming home late every night, and you have no say in the matter.
What religion is Japan?
Buddhist, typically.
Buddhist, okay.
Yeah.
And like, I've always looked at the country and I've always like investigated. I've always been interested. I'd love to go, but I've never actually asked the question: what religion is Japan?
Yeah. Yeah, Buddhist, yeah. But like, I think it's like kind of the modern kind of like diluted down as opposed to
Yeah.
kind of traditionalist stuff, you know, that you see in kind of other areas of Asia.